not sure exactly what he did from the line last night, but he is right up there near the top in free throw shooting percentage. He has shot way more free throws than anybody else, too. Here's Mo, gunning, good, it counts, and Jorgensen's going to get the foul. That would have been the difference in keeping North Dakota close.
Those two have 23 of the 51 points. But they've gotten some help. Bakken with 8, Clausen with 9, Winsenberg and 7 for Jorgensen.
And Mo's got the three-point play. Jorgensen up quickly to Winsenberg. Easy for us to sit up here and do it.
We need to mention that. Need to mention that now because I'm sure this game is going to go right down to the wire, and good intentions notwithstanding, we may miss it.
So now the North Dakota Sioux cheerleaders pick up the chant a little bit across the way. Winsenberg is open. His shot is good. 168 in attendance here in the Port Classic. So not falling away. This time it won't stay. McDonald with a rebound. Thought he was coming with the North Dakota State Augie score.
Nice play for Jorgensen. He almost lost that one.
Lingenfelder rolling the lane. Good.
First field goal since the opening minutes of the contest. He's not gone to the basket well. In fact, he's not really been very evident even defensively.
Jorgensen. Now to McDonald, now to John Brown. He will fire. He will hit it. Well, John Brown is a bit of a scoring drought for him.
Fourth player to go into double figures for the Jacks, led by McDonald's 19.
Again, the 8-point lead for State, 62-54. The high lob can't hang on. Is Bakken, who checked back in during the timeout. He's not quite warmed up enough yet for that kind of play. Jorgensen took a good long look at that one, decided not to. Now here's McDonald. Look at the double team low on Winsenberg. Now the double team, when the ball comes on this side, will come to Lingenfelder. Double team in the low post.
McDonald looks for somebody in the corner, and Brown will get in there and get it for him.
McDonald will fire. Good! Boy, what a night. What a night. 21 points for McDonald. Still 8.5 minutes to go in the right.
I don't know what the capacity is here, but over 5,100 people, and they're all appreciative of the way things are going tonight, no matter whose side they're on.
Aaron Harris misses. Brown with the board. We've got a 4-on-2 fast break. He gets to Jorgensen, and he's good! Jorgensen hits on a beautifully designed fast break. For Bill Jorgensen, it is his 9th point. Biggest lead, a dozen. The crowd will rise to their feet. Dave Gunther will call it time.
They waited.
See that in this week's issue of Time magazine.
Waited for you there before they put it into bounds.
Time. Doug Moe with Brown all over it, misses. Foul on the board.
Lingenfelder 4.
It's on Steve Lingenfelder. Todd Bakken. His free throw won't settle in. His job. And Omlin missed the gimme.
The young lady you just saw on your screen a moment ago was from the University of North Dakota, looking hopeful, and yet time running out on the Sioux with a 12-point deficit and 7.5 minutes to play.
Omlin has problems getting it off to Brown. Now gets it back. Get rid of it. That away.
Well, that's a sign of a team that's winning, of course, when you can do something like that and still retain possession. That's exactly what the Jacks did.
Jackrabbit's going to run a little time off the clock now. Spread the offense out. Go for a real good shot. Playing North Dakota's game, but the Sioux will steal it.
Bad pass.
Ahead it goes. Iverson. Crowd thought he walked. Clausen gives to Bakken. Clock now less than 7 minutes to go. Bakken spins.
Nice
Beautiful move, but he hits it.
He goes into double figures, Tom. That's the third North Dakota Sioux to hit that mark.
66-56, a 10-point lead for State.
Good dribble behind his back by Jorgensen to get around Harris and beat the time clock.
Here's McDonald back out to Jorgensen. State has a 10-point lead over North Dakota. 81-80, North Dakota State is leading in overtime with 2.5 minutes to go.
Boy, they went into another overtime.
Boy, that would be like Christmas a couple weeks late for State. They give off to Lingenfelder. He's fouled. And there's Steve Lingenfelder. He's at the free throw line to shoot 1-and-1. It's up. It's good. Lingenfelder has 10 points in his half. 17 for the game.
And he's matched last night's scoring.
Senior from Thomas Jefferson High School in Bloomington, Minnesota. Second one is good. Thing that went on up there, 7 or 8 games or whatever the suspension was.
Boy, speaking of ticket selling, the Super Bowl really has got a lot of that, haven't it?
Big rolling hook by Clausen. He has been held pretty well in check. He now has 11 points. We're saying we're not having the State U game on next week. Inside going, stop, and is fouled. Up he travels. And if you have any comments, drop them a line, folks. not our fault. Don't blame us.
So our next game is February 7th, UNC in South Dakota State. Here at Frost Arena, it'll be on at 10:30 Central Time on that Saturday night.
Iverson set to play it in. Does so to Sonat. Sonat into Clausen. Another big rolling hook shot. This time it won't go, and he's going to get a foul. His fourth.
Remember the final score, but
71.
It was a pretty big score, although it came to within 9 points late in the ball game. UND lost it.
Free throw by Winselberg. No good. John Brown with the board. Lost it. Iverson tries to save it, and we got a foul called on Brown.
Trying to get it back.
I think he tried to trip up Merriam. As Merriam was scurrying for the ball. Jordan Knight. In for a minute and out. In for a minute and out.
If that had been Tom Maxwell, he would have said going is gone. But you noticed how I ran away from that.
Yes,
line.
I see. You set me up good for that one. Merriam with his first point of the second half. He has 5 for the game now. Second one short. Rebound Clausen in the lane. Shot is no good. Tip try. Sonat no good. Finally Lingenfelder takes control of the middle. Brown quickly ahead to McDonald. Nobody's going to pick him up. Paul will fire. Good.
Well, he's matched last night's performance now, Tom, with 5 minutes to play. That's his 23rd point of the night.
23 points for Paul McDonald. Harris penetrates and hits it. He is an excellent penetrator. He can get that ball inside. His 5th point of the half, 7 on the game for Aaron Harris. 70-61. We just passed the 5-minute mark to go. Here's John Brown. Taking it baseline. Lays it back for Lingenfelder. Has to do a little work to get control of it.
Crowd applauds his dribbling.
Jorgensen lays it down in the corner for Brown. Inside McDonald. Gives it back instead. Back to Lingenfelder. He got Clausen up, and oh, did he take a nasty spill.
Boston, they're big rebounders. The two of them have averaged 32 points a game and 20 rebounds.
Lingenfelder misses the free throw. Jelassic in there to get the rebound. Gives to Merriam. The Sioux now in need of a basket or two here. They're hoping to get back into the game. They don't want to wait too long. Falling off balance, Iverson, no good. Lingenfelder almost tipped it in. Sonat got it and scored.
Well, that was a break for the Sioux that time.
Persistence. 13 points for John Sonat, 70-63.
He's the leading scorer. Well, he and Doug Moe with 13 each to lead the Sioux in scoring.
Now the Jackrabbits are going to run through the offense.
We're coming up on the 4-minute mark.
Bill Jorgensen in trouble. Gives to Winsenberg. Has it knocked out of bounds. Foul on Aaron Harris.
They need to find out that they need to feel that they can come back with their 2 big men, Clausen and Bakken, on the bench with fouls.
Winsenberg hits the free throw. That's 11 points. He's just a couple off his game average. 13. And he has a dozen. And the Jackrabbit lead now is 9, 72-63. Past the 4-minute mark. Merriam. To Iverson. Way short, no good. The Sioux save it right into the hands of Jorgensen. Now he'll go behind the back, trying to elude Aaron Harris. Up to Brown out of Winsenberg. Laid across court for McDonald. Took a look. Decided that discretion is the better part of valor.
3.5 minutes left in the game.
This is McDonald on Jelassic. Lingenfelder, he missed the stuff.
Well, he had a couple of people
Somebody got a hand on the ball. If not, he'd have brought the house down again. Harris off balance, way short again. The Sioux not being very selective now. At a key point in the game, they're going to be getting much better shots than that.
I think that Dave Gunter agrees with you, Tom. He's off the bench. Of course, he's had a sour look most of the night, so I don't know if that was more sour than others.
Down by 9 points. You got to hope for a little bit better shot at the hole in that. Jorgensen penetrates left hand. Wonderful play. What a great move by Phil Jorgensen.
He goes into double figures, the 5th player for the Jacks to go into double figures tonight.
And the Sioux have called a timeout with 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go. The left-handed it up and in off the glass. When Dave Gunther called timeout immediately.
5 players for the Jacks in double figures. Jorgensen with 11, Brown with 10, McDonald 23, Winsenberg 12, and Lingenfelder 18. That's pretty hard to guard.
Here's Merriam from the top of the key. No good. Winsenberg with the board.
Again, they did not use the good shot selection, although Rod Merriam's a good outside shooter. He's not been in doing that kind of shooting, so he's got to be cold from out there.
John Brown gives to Lingenfelder. Stops, maneuvers, scores. And the Rabbits are throwing wood on the fire now.
20 points for Kingling.
76-63. Shot is no good. Foul. As
Brown.
John Brown will pick up the foul. They had him on before.
Oh, did they?
North Dakota State has held off Augustana in overtime to beat the Vikings 86-84. I'll tell you, Lady Luck is riding in the back seat of the North Dakota State bus. They picked up a big win down at Morningside. Very similarly. Free throw by Mo's good. One of them anyway. 76-64. North Dakota understandably pressuring the inbounds. Now we got a 3-on-1 across to Winzenberg. No good. Yes, it is. I spoke too soon as the ball looked like it was coming out. 10, 12, 14 points for Bob Winzenberg. Aaron Harris, baseline. Lingenfelder tries to block. Made Harris put it up too high. Jorgensen with a rebound. And we've got a foul called on Jelassic. His second foul. Jackrabbits in the NCC. This will, if the score should hold, as the free throw by Jorgensen is good, North Dakota U would go to 4-2. North Dakota State is at 5-1. They'll be on top of the conference depending how Morningside did at UNO tonight. Bill Jorgensen gets them both.
Would leave the Jacks a half to North Dakota State. Jacks might have been in first place tonight if Morningside loses, but not to be. To the end in the women's game, won by South Dakota State.
I remember it well.
And I'll tell you now, with the Jacks up by 16, this has gone just the other way. They have a narrow win, just like going earlier, and now they're right down to the wire, and they've got a big margin.
John Sonat has had a good night.
He and Mo with 14 points each to lead the Sioux in scoring. Now 15 for Sonat.
John Sonat has 15 points.
That comes on a 5.3 average. That doesn't hurt anything.
80-66. Jorgensen drives, shoots again, and scores.
That's 15.
He is not a bit afraid to take that ball to the hole.
That's 10 points in the second half, Tom.
Boy, and you work like crazy on one end of the floor to get it, and Jorgensen comes right back and scores a layup on you. Harris driving, giving off. He was fouled on his way.
Who was it?
Winzenberg. Now, we've already given our picks for the Super Bowl. I want Philadelphia to win, but I got the sneaking suspicion that Oakland, as we said in the girls' game, is a team of destiny. It's going to be close.
Aaron Harris now has 8 points, Tom, and 9, and if he gets one more, that'll put 10 players total in double figures. That's a pretty healthy margin, I'd say.
82-68 with 1:40 to go. And now the Jackrabbits are going to hang on and shoot free throws for the rest of the night. McDonald, they're looking to get Lingenfelder open underneath. He is dangerously wide open, and if he can get another dunk, this place will come down. Lingenfelder has the ball on the way. Now goes back out front to Jorgensen. He's fouled by Merriam.
Rod reaching for
fine night for Phil.
16 points for Phil, getting a chance to get back into the starting lineup.
Now all we're going to do is decide a final score. Shot by Aaron Harris is good. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11 points for Aaron Harris.
5 players on each side in double-figure scoring. Very balanced on both ends, and just a sophomore. Sonat comes out.
Shooting is Dwayne Morris. No good. Lingenfelder rebound. Outlet to Brown. Brown is going to try to lay it up for Winzenberg, but it is stolen by Dwayne Morris. Here comes Morris on the dribble. Gives to Harris. He drives baseline, gets in close, and scores. So he's going to pick up a bunch here down the stretch. 83-72. Jackrabbits losing the basketball as
John Brown says, what do you got to do to get a foul in this league, Coach?
Aaron Harris scores.
Ball game and enjoying it immensely, especially when they are cheering for the Jackrabbits.
Free throw is good for McDonald. Just shakes his head. There's a smile on his face, saying, boy, when things are going right, you get the nice rolls to boot. 24 for McDonald.
14 in the second half.
Nice round figure. 25 points in a night for Paul McDonald. 85-74.
Gives him 48 points against these two leading teams in the North Central Conference on 2 straight nights. That's not too bad a production.
Harris again looking to penetrate. Gives it off to Jelassic. He traveled. Yeah, he took steps with the ball. So as a result of tonight's action, it looks like North Dakota State will sit alone unless, of course, Morningside can come back, and I'm not discounting that possibility whatsoever. But they're down by 6 in OT. Winzenberg's going to bring it out. He's going to give it to Jorgensen. They're going to tick off the clock, and the crowd will pick up the chant very quickly. 6 seconds. 5. McDonald is fouled by Steve Kahn.
From Grand Forks, North Dakota. He's got a pretty good crew ready to come back again next year.
His dad is stationed at the Air Force Base in Grand Forks. Paul McDonald at the free throw line.
With just 5 seconds to play, the final score is all that's in question.
26 points for McDonald. 16 of them in this half, and he has got a bunch from the free throw line. Jackrabbits going to take everybody out of the lane now as the congratulations begin for the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, picking up a couple of big wins this weekend at home. McDonald finishes with 27 points. Up to Thiessen, cross to Lingenfelder. He sends one up at the horn, short, and this game is history. It is all over as Scholastic Rifles went into the crowd. Final 87-74. While I compile my final stats, Jim, your thoughts on the game?
Well, this was quite a ball game. Of course, we thought early in the game that it was going to be a bad one for State because Steve Lingenfelder picked up his 3rd foul early in that first half, and it looked like maybe they were going to intimidate him down the way. Clausen was playing well. They were hitting well from outside, and it seemed to be a real game of switching momentum because there for a while near the end of the first half, it looked like the Jacks, despite Lingenfelder's fouls, were going to be able to pull away. They got up by 7, 36-29. Then they gave up 4 straight points, including one right near the buzzer. They went to the locker room 36-33. They never again trailed in the game, although UND was able to come to within 1 at 36-35, and the Jacks just kept pulling away little by little. Dan Clausen and Todd Bakken fouled out with 6 and 4 minutes respectively. They're ready to go, and so nobody for the Jacks ever did foul out, despite the fact that Lingenfelder didn't pick up his 4th foul. Balanced scoring for both sides. That's the way the game went.
Okay, let's look at the scoring of the game. First of all, for South Dakota State, a stellar performance. 50 points in 2 nights, 23 last night for Paul McDonald, 27 tonight, 20 for Steve Lingenfelder unofficially, 16 for Phil Jorgensen, 14 for Bob Winsenberg, 10 for John Brown. So everybody that scored double figures for South Dakota State. For North Dakota, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute double figures, as Jim told you. 15 for John Solanoff, 15 for Aaron Harris, 14 for Doug Moe, 11 for Dan Clausen, 10 for Todd Bakken, 5 points for Rod Merriam, 4 points for Jim Iverson. No game next week, folks, but be back with us on the night of February 7th when Third Right and Northern Colorado Bears will be